All right, I am here in the home of Chris and Linda Zito. They have welcomed me back after I helped them get here from New Jersey to Idaho. And I just want to share their story with you, or at least have them tell their story to you so that you guys can learn just a little bit more about what it's like relocating from a state maybe you've never even been to or even thought about moving to. So Chris, Linda, thank you for having me in. Talk to me a little bit about your story, a little bit like, how did Idaho come on the radar for you?
She was in finance for a long time, and the bank she worked for was getting bought out. So we had an opportunity to, check new horizons. And New Jersey was mismanaged. It's very expensive. The taxes are very high. It's not very safe, parts of it. I didn't want to grow old there, even though my family's been there for a long time. Most of them think we moved to Iowa, by the way. So,
or Ohio.
Or Ohio. But we initially, we used to spend a lot of vacation time. When we had time off, we would go to New England and Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And it's as expensive as New Jersey, and it leans that way as far as their government. I believe the last trip we were kind of like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. We kicked around maybe going down south, but I've been down south, and I was kind of like the humidity. It's booming. There's too many people from New Jersey down there now. So we spoke to Linda's dad, and he was out in Walla Walla, and he said, you might want to check out Idaho. So we went to YouTube.
And we found you, Greg. And we were so thankful because you just brought the energy level and the enthusiasm, the positivity. And we saw other vloggers, realtor vloggers, but we just felt connected to you. Talking to my dad, he's like, check out Boise. It's really booming. I think you guys will like it. So we researched, and we saw that Meridian kept on the top list.
Yeah.
And Boise, Nampa's now, I see that it's getting on.
But you had never been here before.
We have never been here.
Even like this was completely.
No.
Yeah, we felt very comfortable dealing with you because I know initially when we explained our situation, I remember the first conversation, I said, it sounds weird, but we're never been there, but we really think we might want to buy a house here. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh, that's happens a lot where people physically can't get there.
Yeah.
And you were able to help us out. And but this area, we're really happy here because this is so close to everything where we want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted the shopping and
we
didn't want to be out in the boonies. That was just us. So this really worked out beautifully.
And the newer
for
house,
us.
because we had an older house that was constantly needing repairs.
What was the process like coming from or driving across, and was there any special purchases that you had to make in order to make the drive over?
Well, Greg, a lot of Yentas in my family, and they were watching, I believe, might be Oprah or one of those scientific shows, that there's a thing when you go over, I guess, 5,000 feet or so, that you'll just pass out. We drove across with 2 cars, 3 dogs, and 4 cans of oxygen. Because there's a point where you hit, I think it's Lincoln Point they call it, when you go to
I think
Wyoming.
I think it's on 80.
From Nebraska to Wyoming.
Yeah.
It gets very high, 8,000 feet.
Pettingill, replace your O2 canister immediately.
He called about the dogs and the oxygen.
I was asking the vet before we left if they're going to be okay.
We still have it if you need it. If you plan on going up to Bogus Basin or something.
Okay, so one of the questions I always get is cost of living. So for you coming from New Jersey to Idaho, I mean, you've got to see some savings, right?
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
So
Majorly.
what have been the biggest surprises for you guys on cost of living overall?
Property tax here is about 70% cheaper than New Jersey, maybe 80%.
Jeez.
Because we were paying $9,000 a year, and here we're not even paying
for a 1,300 square foot home.
1 bath ranch. What we pay here, we don't even pay in a quarterback, and it's less than what we paid in a quarterback in New Jersey, which was wonderful because we would walk like 2,200, 2,500, depending on the payment schedule, across the street every 90 days. We literally would have to walk across the street to the municipal building.
Besides the major property taxes, its insurance is a lot lower.
Okay.
HOA is amazing to me because the HOA, I think it's only $40 here a month, and we have the parks, paths. But before we even bought our house in New Jersey, we had a 1 bed one bed, one bath condo, and we were paying like close to, was it $300 a month? And this was years ago, or $250. Here, and these subdivisions are beautiful.
Well, and you're in one of the most premier subdivisions in Meridian.
Yeah.
And so, well, no, and so let's go down the HOA road a little bit, because
Yeah.
I get a lot of calls that say,
Sure.
Greg, I want to move to Idaho, but I don't want an HOA. How strict has the HOA been for you, or what's been your?
They're pretty liberal about what you want to do. They they make sure that people adhere to the rules. They don't want cars parked out on the street or people breaking any of the. There's not a lot of rules, and as a state, I don't feel there is a lot of rules.
Or that they enforce.
They don't. Pretty much let you do your own thing. As far as the front, they have guidelines, but it's not strict guidelines.
Like, because you took out a big tree, and you know, so.
Yeah.
And in the back, they don't really. You can do whatever you want in the back property. I didn't think I wanted to go back to HOA myself, but I realized, I know you were saying most of the newer subdivisions are HOA. And it's great here. It's like you live in a park.
Yeah, I love it because they make sure, everybody keeps their house beautiful and maintained and clean. And so it's like living
More
in
of
a
a
little
neighborhood.
paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you guys are just pinch yourself sometimes still that you see, or just like, whoa, what was that? Like I would have never seen that at home. Is there anything like?
It's a vibe here. It's kind of, sometimes it almost feels like at the beach, because when you go to the beach, people are usually happy and in a good mood. And most people here are very happy. I actually haven't had any run-ins in 2 years with anybody who was, upset or angry or screaming and yelling and carrying on. Well, New Jersey.
You go straight ahead and you make the left over the bridge.
That's a lovely accent you have. New Jersey?
Freaking out and, what are you doing in my neighborhood? None of that. Everybody's been overly friendly, which at first kind of set you back like, hey, what are you up to?
Well, I feel too that a lot of people are so like-minded here, and that's another nice. It's refreshing. I wrote down some things because I didn't want to. I didn't want to miss anything. If I can read them, because my biggest surprise.
You didn't need oxygen to go up the mountains.
The middle lane. The middle.
Yeah,
you
that
guys,
was weird.
we
Okay.
have a middle lane here that we're not used to.
We have jug handles.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Junk handle.
it
the
looks
jug
like
handles.
a jug handle.
Oh, jug handle. Yeah.
So the middle lanes look kind of overwhelming because, again, we've never been in the state. And when we came here, we're like, oh my God, all these lanes are so wide. I got used to that, and I like them better, and they make more sense. And the vast openness around here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here it's so open, and I love that because you get the foothills and everything. So you have the best of both worlds. You have all the shopping, but you got the farmland too. So you could still feel like you're out in the country if you just want a little country drive. We have a lot of parks here, which are so beautiful. Everything's shiny and new because it is.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were trying to gauge, when we were trying to learn areas, we're like, oh, let's get a pinpoint where we're at. Well, the next week that we're out and about, it looks so different because of all the construction.
Yeah.
For anything
So
to get
because a lot
done.
of people are like, oh man, my house is taking forever to get done.
Whoa,
but...
they need to go someplace else. Back east, everything takes forever because of red tape, jurisdictions, and permits and things like that. And I know we have that here, but here I cannot believe when we moved here, there was no Winco. It was a field.
Yeah, that's right.
And now,
And no Costco.
and everything's
no Costco.
just
Yeah,
blowing
there's
up
no-
right over there.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast. Like I still mind blown. Like, what is this? And then you're excited. Like, what's this gonna be? What's this gonna be? So I like the growth. It's exciting. I also love the weather. The weather is beautiful.
Yeah, because New Jersey, I imagine, gets freezing.
it's cold, but also it's the humidity's crazy. In the summer, that always made it the worst was the humidity and the heat. And here you do have that dry heat, but we really have 4 seasons here. Plus the winter's kind of like, I call it like the Hallmark winter. You get to wear warm clothes, but it never really snows that much. And if you're crazy enough to go up to Bogus Basin, you can see snow. But I love seeing, there's still a little bit of snow on some of the, some of the foothills. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love seeing that in the background with the snow in the background. I like. But I love the dry heat. This is just something we're not used to, and the breeze. There seems to be a lot of breeze. So even if it is really hot, it's always that. It's great. That's why we feel like we're down at the shore, because you have that breeze.
See. Yeah.
The great thing about Idaho, I've met so many nice people from California.
I was going to ask you, because you guys, you're brand new here, kind of, and so how's it been just like meeting people? Have they been like...
It seems as long as you're not from California, they like you.
And he's kidding. He's kidding, because everybody here is from California.
Yeah, really.
It's very rare that I meet someone from Idaho.
Yeah, it's very...
So I love it because, again, we're all kind of, I feel like we're all new together. Yeah. Since we've been here, we've met so many wonderful people, and in my neighborhood alone, we do a lot of things together. July 4th, I didn't tell you yet, but July 4th, we're having like a barbecue and fireworks, and they do stuff for New Year's Eve and movie nights out of the garage and Halloween. Like, it's so cool because people really get into the holidays.
Did you have a ton
here.
of trick-or-treaters?
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
And it's cool because everybody does projection movies on their garage doors, so you can walk down the street and you can catch, like we were showing Gremlins, but it was so cool because it is very community. And New Jersey, our neighbors, we had some nice neighbors, but most of them was like, hi, why are you looking at me? And they run away.
So what has been like your, when you talk to your family,
Oh, they're horrible people.
When they ask you about Idaho, are they wanting to come out here and visit you guys, or have you guys been back to visit them, or?
My family has come out so far, and one of my friends came out and absolutely loved it. And my sister and the family, the kids fell in love. They were just here about a month ago. And the kids are dying to move here.
Is that right?
But they're moving to Texas as we speak, though, because her husband just got a job offer down there in Dallas.
But this is really strange because I really have not had a negative experience or ever said I miss anything that much that
Chris, they're not going to believe you, and they're not going to believe me, because there has to be something negative about Idaho. There has to be.
I know.
You're a straight shooter. You've always been a straight shooter.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of negative, but it's a positive. People are pretty very courteous drivers here, which I'm not used to, which took a long time to get used to, where you would get cut off quite frequently, a lot of road rage and things.
I'm walking here.
And then when people wave your arm, you're like, hey, what are you up to? So that was kind of strange.
And my negative is feeling like I'm on an island, but it is a vast area, which is good. But I feel like, okay, if you want to go to the other cities, or you have to, the minimum, it seems like you have to drive like 2 to 5 hours to get somewhere. I mean, we love to drive, so it's not probably a big deal for us.
We have oxygen.
We have oxygen, yes. Even though I find that as a negative, I can mitigate that because we have a small local airport, which is nice. You just can hop on the plane.
I guess the one negative is New Jersey's so old. And it's so historical, but also there was a lot more roads and towns. I do miss the fact that I could navigate to like Philly all through back roads and back smaller, roads and avenues and things. But that's about the only negative is, it's only been a state a little over 100 years, so it didn't have the population. And it does have quite a bit of history, though. We went out to the old military cemetery. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about your impression of the downtown Boise versus, New Jersey. And, because people always want to know, is there...
We lived in an area that had, it's historic. It was very old, pre-revolutionary. It had an old courthouse and nothing but vacant stores because the taxes were so high, even the business taxes. So... you know, growing up, you had a lot of, you know, pizzerias and barbershops and mom and pop stores, and they can't afford to stay. And then even the shopping area I grew up with is mostly vacant now. And these were, you know, major retailers that were in there. So it got very expensive. And then, you know, with the world we live in now with online shopping, here it's so vibrant and new, and there's commerce.
It's a safe city.
It's safe.
Do you guys feel safe
Yeah.
going into
Yeah.
downtown?
I
and-
think people are so nice, and I feel fine just walking downtown, and it's a charming city, you know, and it's not overwhelming. Easy to get around and navigate, and it's really cool to see the old neighborhoods. You know, you can go through the city, but you can also see the surrounding older neighborhoods and like the historic Hyde Park. It's just fun to drive around.
Yeah. What would you tell someone who's kind of on the fence, being like, should we go now or should we just wait it out? Like, what would you, based off your experience?
It's like a recipe. All the great ingredients are here. You have good people, good government. They're very accepting of everybody, number one. Number two, there's a beauty here. A natural beauty, but also they're trying to preserve it. There's so much open lands here, and you have the BLM and all that. You know, you can go out there. People love the outdoors, and I think there's not that anger. Like New Jersey's a lot of angry people, and I guess that my guard was always up when I came here, but it's taken a while, and you'll realize when you get out of the rat race of the Northeast, where it's so aggressive, the drive and the personalities, the accent, everything. Hey, I don't experience any of that here.
My advice would be to just go ahead and do it, because that's what we did, and I, you know, I am always a little more hesitant than anything, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
It was the best thing we ever did, was because we went through all the states. Like we, you know, some weren't even a contender, and then
you know, when we having 50 states, it's like you would feel like you have a lot of options, and like, oh, we can go, but we felt like, oh, we don't want to go there, we don't want to go there, we don't want to be in the Midwest, not the South. It was like, wow, we were really narrowing it down to okay, where are we going to end up?
and some places you're like, well, that's great for vacation, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah.
I wish I could say there's something I really dislike here. I guess because we were dealing with such a different situation, Becky.
I have to say, I mean, I love it. Every day that I'm here, I love it more.
If you guys want to experience what Chris and Linda have experienced here, like Chris said, life is short. So if you're on the fence about thinking, man, should I do Idaho or not? Life is short. I think you'll be really, really happy here, regardless of what's happening right now. If you have a chance to exit the state that you're in, I would highly recommend it. Just go to the website, www.goingidaho.com, and start looking at all the different houses that we have for sale, and just maybe pick out a few that you like and reach out to us. Our team, we'd love to help you find that home and find that area that speaks to you and your situation. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. Also, connect with us on social media. We're everywhere on Go Idaho. Just search on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, search Go Idaho, and you'll find us. So until next time, thank you, Chris and Linda. Hope to be interviewing you. Go Idaho.